Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel and another live stream. The first live stream back after that boring old international break. Morning Bears, how are you mate? I hope you're well, hope you're having a good day. First live stream back after the international break, and quite a lot has gone on since we last done a live stream. We've got the whole Sancho saga to go through. We actually broke the news of that in our last live stream, but you know, kind of quite a lot has developed since then. We need to talk about Brighton. We need to talk about who's actually going to play left back this weekend. We need to talk about who's going to replace the likes of Sancho and Anthony. We've got a little tier list to go through. We need to talk about is Amrabat going to play in this game. And of course, on top of all of that, we've got some tactics to go through. Doing good, just finished college for the day. Oh, happy days, my friend. What time is it where you are? Off college though. Enjoy the rest of your day. What a way to, you know, start your weekend, I guess. FP, how are you, mate? I hope you're well. Good to see you, my friend. I'm aware we are competing with a few different people for views at the moment because Atlantis Football has just uploaded a video. So we might be a little bit slow getting into things on this stream. We've got Ten Hag going live with his press conference a little bit later on. I'll send you 12:30. Oh, nice one. Enjoy the rest of your day, my friend. Half day at college, not bad at all. But yeah, we've got a few different things to go through today. Like I said, we need to discuss Jadon Sancho. So first of all, give your thoughts on that because bit of a mess. So give me your thoughts on Jadon Sancho. Give me your thoughts on who's going to play left back this weekend. Give me your thoughts on who can replace Jadon Sancho / Anthony this weekend on the right hand side of the attack. Assuming Mason Mount is still injured, not too sure. Give me your thoughts, what we're going to do against Brighton. How can Manchester United set up? You may have watched my tactical preview this morning. If so, let me know what you think. Iron Viking, good to see you, my friend. I hope you're well. I just saw you in the live chat on Atlantis Football's upload. I hope you're well. Hope you're good, having a good day. We're also going to talk about Amrabat, like Atlantis Football just was. He kind of beat me to it on that one. So we will be talking about Sophie and Amrabat as well. We've got a tier list coming, ranking the Manchester United summer signings this year. And, of course, as always, some tactics to go through. Poor professionalism from Sancho. Yep, very true. Sancho just never settled a player with the potential but lacks professionalism to play at United. It's more than anything with the whole Sancho situation. Like, there's anger about it because you spent so much money on it. But the overriding emotion for me is just disappointment. And I'm not making a meme there. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. It's just so disappointing to see a player with so much potential seemingly just kind of throwing it away. He was meant to be the star boy coming into the club, around £72 million the other year. He was meant to come into the club, transform the right wing position, potentially get the number 7 before Ronaldo then later joined. He was the chosen one. He was meant to be United's next big thing in the attack. He was meant to lead the attack for the next decade. It's just so disappointing. Iron Viking with a really good point there saying, let's run the likes up. If you are enjoying the stream, or if you think you're going to enjoy the rest of the stream, make sure you leave a like and also share this people with as many different people as possible. Share this people? Share this video. Share this stream with as many different people as possible. Like I said, we are competing for views a bit at the moment because Atlantis Football has just uploaded. So I dare say some of you have been watching that. Foodsie saying, big fan of your work and dedication, AJ. Thank you very much, my friend. I hope you're well. Hope United get a win this weekend. What are your score predictions for that game? How do you see it going? What do you think is going to happen? I'm at the moment kind of leaning towards a 2-1 win to United, but let me know what you think. Mel Rakan saying, Sancho really had all the tools to be great, but his physicality and focus was always lacking. Some people just don't have the necessary physicality for Premier League wing play. I think he's also struggled with like you said, lack of physicality, lack of acceleration and speed and ability to separate himself from opponents before then delivering like a final ball into the box or whatever. I don't think the system has ever suited him particularly. It's always been close to getting something out of him, but not quite. But I think what we do need to remember with Sancho is that we're kind of only hearing one side of it, really. And I do get a point was made that Sancho feels like he's been kind of made a scapegoat a little bit and doesn't get treated the same as other players. And I do actually understand it a little bit. For example, if you look at Anthony, for example, his performances haven't always been right up there, but he's always played. There's been games where Sancho has come in and performed and then not got another chance. So I do understand it. But all we can assume is that other players train better. And I don't even mean performance level in training. I mean application and work rate. That seems like it's where Sancho is letting himself down. Does anyone know if Amrabat is fit? No. I said it in my tactical preview for Brighton this morning. It's so confusing trying to predict what the team's going to be for this game. Varane is unfit, I believe, now. Lisandro Martinez, there's talks that he might miss it, although I think he will be fine. Is Amrabat available? Is Højlund ready to start? Really difficult to tell. United should have known about his previous training issues. We don't do background checks. That's a very good point. It's easy for us as fans to sit here and say, I want United to go sign that player or that player or that player. And we base it on performance and things like that. Certainly if you don't really analyse it. But football clubs should know that he has this kind of trait for being late for training or not applying himself properly. Because we're now seeing loads of stories coming out kind of revealing that. So why couldn't United find that out before? It's a bit frustrating. I can see us leaving with a 2-1 smash and grab. Going to be a test, but our best games have come in losses. So I hope we can express ourselves. We lost twice to them in the league and won on penalties. That's the reason I think this game will be different and we will win. Last season versus Brighton, this is the first stat of the day from FP. Played 3, won 0, drawn 1, lost 2. Win rate of 0%. I think Sancho is a really technically good player, but his skill set is lacking an aspect to it that he needs for these top teams that play really physically, that maybe he didn't need at Dortmund. Of course, the Bundesliga is a very different league in terms of intensity as well, and space you get. If you look at top teams across the world, their players being a top athlete, at least squarely above average, is a constant across them. Yeah, I think that's an evolvement we've really seen in the last couple of years, is that we kind of went through that spell where we saw loads of technical players at these top clubs. Now we're seeing they're technical, but also they are the most athletic players in the world as well. And I think that's a side to his game which Sancho hasn't added. And you only get that by working hard, by applying yourself in training, doing the fitness drills, the stuff which isn't so fun. And it just seems like Sancho hasn't been doing that, which is a little bit disappointing. On the Brighton front, we'll kind of talk about it properly a little bit later on when we've got a few more people in the stream. What I will say is, yes, we're talking about 0 wins against them last season, 1 draw and 2 losses with a win rate of 0%. Thank you very much, FP. This season, there is 2 big differences, hopefully. Maybe 3, but certainly 2 big differences. One being Onana in goal. If you think Brighton are a really good pressing side, Onana is going to kind of combat that in a completely different way to what David De Gea did. It's going to be like night and day in terms of who you have in goal. But also, Rasmus Højlund will affect the way that teams can press. I go on about it quite a lot, and I don't want to repeat myself, but we know that this guy is going to cause problems because teams will be scared to go 1-to-1 with him because he is so good in the air. He's so physical, he's so big, he's athletic, he's strong, so that will cause problems. And also, if Amrabat is available and available to start, then here's another one who brings something different. So, yes, United struggled against Brighton last season. I think this is a different game. If those 3 start, which we don't know at the moment, but if those 3 start, this is a completely different football match. Ronaldo Carty saying Lisandro was training at Carrington. Well, that's a really good sign because one player that will be needed in this game is definitely Lisandro Martinez. Like I said, we will get into... Not sure what happened to my throat there. We will get into kind of tactically what we're going to do in this game and a few other things once we've got a few more people in the stream. Again, we are competing for views with other people at the moment, but we're going to keep competing. We're not going to bow down just because we're a smaller channel. You doubt Amrabat is ready? Yeah, obviously he withdrew from the Morocco squad over the international break. I think he probably plays, but maybe doesn't start, just fitness-wise. I'm really optimistic about Højlund personally. Pellistri also seems to actually have really good physical traits to him. With Amrabat too, I think United should win comfortably. Why do you think Ten Hag does not trust Facundo Pellistri? I think it's more about his ball retention and things like that. When you look at someone like Anthony, who Ten Hag, of course, spent big money on, he was really good at, yes, being somewhat creative in the final third, but he kept the ball really, really well a lot of the time. I'm not sure if Facundo Pellistri has that understanding just yet of when to kind of ramp it up and go forward and when to slow it down, so I would argue it's probably that. We had moments of control versus Arsenal, but we couldn't progress the ball into their final third. Yeah, that was a big problem. United had loads of the ball in these deeper areas, which was good to see. It's good to see that the players were calm, composed, patient, and genuinely had the technical ability to play the ball out from the back. But we need some progression. We need connection points from the defence to the midfield to the attack. Amrabat, again, is a player which will bring that, but we just don't know if we're going to see it or not. Stat, against Arsenal, we did not enter their final third until the 27th minute when Rashford scored. Yeah. And that highlighted a big problem in that game, really. Maybe Pellistri isn't performing well enough in ball retention, drills and training. Quite possibly. Again, is really difficult to tell, really. Brighton are good, but they will give you a lot of chances. I agree. Brighton are a really good side, but I don't want to disrespect footballers here. Pascal Gross and Gilmore, if that is the midfield too, you cannot tell me they are on the level of McAllister and Caicedo from last season. They're just not. They're just not. A couple of you mentioning the Ten Hag press conference. We will be keeping our eyes on that. Well, I can't believe the comment I've just read from Chad. Thanks for helping me write my will. You're welcome, mate. Yeah, we will be updating anything we see from the Ten Hag press conference. Didn't see Amrabat in any of the training photos. I don't know if he is available. Again, hopefully Ten Hag will let us know. If Amrabat isn't available, who would you go for? We've got a few options. I believe Kobe Mainoo's still out, so that leaves us with Christian Eriksen or Scott McTominay probably, which would then give us this shape. DJ Nature, hello my friend AJ. How are you doing, mate? I'm not bad at all, thank you very much. Pretty good. How about you? You good? Hope you're having a good day. Evans and Maguire start and we're doomed. End finito. Yeah, we're going to do a tier list in a little while, kind of evaluating Manchester United summer business. I'm looking forward to see your rankings on Johnny Evans as a signing, because I don't think it's a signing any of us really predicted or expected. They've been better than United's midfield though. Yeah, absolutely. So, Ankit Panda saying, would you start Reguilón this game? And I think that's a good question to come on to. Who do you guys think should start out of these two? While you kind of get your thoughts in the chat, I just want to reply to an earlier question, which was, who do you think is right out of Sancho and Ten Hag? I don't think it's been dealt with perfectly. We don't know which has gone on. We don't know what's gone on behind closed doors, because we don't know why did Sancho have that 3-month break last season? Was it for personal reasons, for example, like a family-related problem? Or was it him being given time off because he's not training properly, telling him to go focus? So it's really difficult to gauge it. I'm not a big fan of people being called out in public. But again, was he really called out? He just said he didn't train that well. It's not really a calling out. He just asked for a player to play better. He done the same with Garnacho, not the preseason just gone, but the one before. We saw his response. Marcus Rashford was publicly, and, Ten Hag came out and said, I've dropped Rashford because he was late for training or late for a meeting, whatever it was. And you react. So in my opinion, I would always go with the manager, but just be careful because we don't fully know the situation. The thing I would say is that Ten Hag has to be bigger than any player at this football club. It doesn't matter who it is. For years, we have complained that the club is run by player power. It felt like Ronaldo was in charge of things. It felt like Pogba was in charge of things. When those players were unhappy or whatever, it felt like the changing room shifted and things like that. Ten Hag is getting rid of that, which is a great sign. Reguilón should start. Varane and Martinez both injured apparently. Who should we start at the back? I believe Lisandro Martinez is fit, so I'd imagine it would just be Lisandro and Victor Lindelof. The shift in player power is a good thing to see. Absolutely. I think it's really important. Okay, so that's a good point raised there by Mohammed, saying Dalot can invert, and if there's no Amrabat, we should start Dalot. That's a really good point. So if we go back to the tactical board, if you have... let's find him. If you have Sofian Amrabat available for this game, what I was speaking about in my tactical preview is going for a 2-4 shape in build-up, because it allows you to outnumber Brighton. Even if they push an extra midfielder forward, it just gives you the spare man. And also, by having a double pivot, the opposition can't piston press. Now, in this system, I would make a case for playing Reguilón over Dalot, simply because he is really good going forward in the final third. And if we're looking at maybe trying to move Rashford into these positions, which have been vacated, can you then get Reguilón on the overlap? That's an idea I quite like. However, that probably only works with Amrabat in the side, as you've pointed out. If Amrabat comes out, and let's put Christian Eriksen back in the side, suddenly the build-up structure probably changes a little bit. Dalot then probably needs to come in for his ability to come into these areas. Because whilst Eriksen is doing well in these deeper positions, we know he's not natural there. It's not like he's played there for 10 years or so. So, yeah, that's a really good point. Maybe whether you go Dalot or Reguilón depends on what midfielder you start. Reguilón hasn't played in a while, could be rusty, also very true. I'd use McTominay over Maguire at centre-back, if necessary. Who do you think should start right wing? We will be coming on to that, my friend, don't you worry. But what he did with Rashford nearly cost us points because he was 45 seconds late. I get that. But I think what Ten Hag's going for here is he's almost happy at times to sacrifice the short-term problem. I might throw away a couple of points, but I'm going to make sure that in a season's time, my players really understand who's the boss here. Because you're not going to win a Premier League title with players which aren't disciplined. So I think Ten Hag at times is happy to sacrifice a point or two if in 12 months he knows which of his players are committed, which of his players are disciplined. I think he is happy to kind of make that balance, and at the moment I would say he's getting that balance right. Who do I prefer, Lindelof or Maguire? I think Maguire is really good. I think he's overhated, but Lindelof is way more suited to this United team. AJ, do you think we could convert Casemiro into a centre-back? He's better in possession than Varane, and when he played there, he was great. It's something which I would actually be interested in looking at in the future, maybe doing a video on it. My concern would be kind of his mobility, his turning radius and things like that. Not exactly great. He isn't the most agile player, shall we say, but it could work in possession. Would you start Amrabat as an inverted right back? It is an idea that we've spoken about before. Let me just sort out my microphone. It is an idea that we've spoken about before. Probably not unless you were desperate. But it could happen. It could happen. I believe he did play fullback a couple of times under Erik ten Hag before. I don't think Sancho is good enough to contribute to a Premier League winning side overall right now either. Also true. I think Maguire's great long passing suits Højlund. That's an interesting point to make as well, yeah. Although I would say Lindelof's long passing is pretty decent. Remember a couple of seasons ago when we'd always see Lindelof playing it over for Marcus Rashford? That was always good fun. Personally, I think the best solution for Casemiro is as an 8, with Amrabat as the 6. Something like this is the midfield structure that I like, kind of long-term moving forward. Amrabat the deepest, Casemiro sort of box-to-boxy, Fernandes higher. But again, I don't think we'll see it this weekend if we're unsure on Amrabat. Loads of chats coming in. AJ just spoke my mind. What did you say? Oh, Casemiro plays best as a ball-winning 8. Yeah, there you go. Great minds think alike. Maguire tends to hit really slow passes. Yeah, his understanding of tempo isn't always great. Should Bruno play right wing? We will come on to that shortly. Happy Friday, lads. Happy Friday to you as well, my friend. Loads of chats coming through at the moment. If you want to guarantee that I see your message, you can use a super chat. It pops the message up on my screen, so I definitely see it and I'll read it out. Any money donated goes to a new microphone or a new camera, which I'm hoping to get next month, the new camera. But if you don't want to use a super chat, of course, you don't have to. Really, Casemiro doesn't have the quickness to play advanced 8 IMO. I think, did I do a video on it on my channel? I think if you, after the stream, go check a video out from a couple of weeks ago, I kind of cover it more in depth there. Will you be doing a buy-in preview today or later on in the week? I'll be uploading a video on it on Monday, I believe, but we'll probably go live twice next week. Once to preview the Bayern game, once to preview the Burnley game. We should replace Varane next season. A lot of people seem to think that, and I'm probably of that opinion. Can we realistically beat Bayern Munich in the Champions League? Yes. Maguire's passing... Do we think Maguire would be out of place in the Championship? Maguire would look unbelievably good in the Championship. That's why I like the idea of Lindelof, or trying Lindelof at right back when Varane and Martinez are fit. I have a video on kind of a little bit on that tomorrow. You know the series I started it earlier in the week where I looked at Manchester United in a 4-4-2 diamond. And we looked at the strengths to weaknesses, how it would work, how you could hybrid it to make it work. We've got something similar tomorrow for a 3-4-3 formation, which involves Sandro Martinez playing, it involves Rafael Varane playing, and it involves Victor Lindelof playing. So keep an eye out for that tomorrow. Make sure to like, subscribe, and also get your notifications on so you don't miss that. What do you think about Newcastle's new pressing shape? Can United use it? Truthfully, I haven't watched enough of Newcastle yet this season to really comment. Maguire would look good, would look world-class, in the Serie A. Yep, I agree. He should have moved in the summer. We need to win tomorrow and at least draw to Bayern, or else everyone's going to turn on Ten Hag. Yeah, I think this is the problem which United have at the moment. Losing against Brighton in any other situation isn't a horrendous situation, right? Because Brighton are good at football. Let's not joke about here. Brighton are really good. But losing to them, meaning that you've lost 3 of your first 5 games, and then going into that Bayern game, which is going to be tricky, without Shaw, without Varane, maybe without Lisandro Martinez, without £150 million worth of right wingers, suddenly things start to look a little bit ropey. And you know what the media is like, you know what fans are like, people will turn on Ten Hag, which we do not want. Yeah, I agree, Maguire should have gone to West Ham. I don't know what happened there, I don't know why he didn't, but yeah, he absolutely should have done it, would have been best for his career. We need 4-2-2-2 formation video for United. Coming soon, probably in October. I think right now what seems to be trendy in the Premier League is playing a lot of defenders. Funnily enough, look at City, basically playing 4 centre-backs in the back line with Rodri. That physicality is so important. How far do you see United going in the Champions League? It's really difficult to say, obviously, because we don't know the knockout stages until it's drawn. United should get through the groups, though. I'm so glad we're playing at Old Trafford. If we were playing away, I'd be far more concerned. Yeah, that would be a real concern. I believe this is the first time United have played Brighton at Old Trafford. Ten Hag versus De Zerbi, I believe, which will be interesting because it puts a different focus on it. Away from home, United can kind of go away, be a bit more compact. We saw it at Wembley as well. Not super high on the press, a bit more in the mid-block and kind of sacrificing possession at times. At Old Trafford, there might be more need, because of the demand of the fans, there might be more need for United to control the ball. So, that could be interesting. Fun fact, our only loss at Old Trafford in the Premier League last season was against Brighton. Hopefully that changes this year. Poor Ten Hag, it's not his fault. Yeah, Ten Hag is getting unjustified criticism, but of course also he makes a lot of the decisions and is at fault for certain things as well. There's a clear out and I'm happy with it. However, we still need a proper director of football for quality incoming moving forward. Yep, I completely agree. Ten Hag's style is really gung-ho. He really wants the ball to progress up the field quickly. De Zerbi is a lot calmer. Yeah, I think De Zerbi's side have a more patient and a more measured approach, but who are we to say kind of what is the right and wrong way to play football? It's just different styles. Are you really satisfied with our right flank output, right wing and right backs? No. I'm not. Should we start with a quick tier list on United's transfer business just to get your opinions on it? Because this is an area where we can talk about this. A lot of this is Ten Hag, so this is where we can perhaps point the finger a little bit with signings. So we'll start off with the first bit of business of the summer, which was Mason Mount. Give me a rating. I'll put him here in the middle just for now, but go for it. Are you going to have to go after the tier list, but I'll be back after? No worries, my friend. No worries at all. So yeah, put in chat what score you would give Mason Mount. If we don't make it out of the Champions League group, would that justify sacking Ten Hag? It really depends on kind of the context of it, how you go out, what the performances are like. Say, for example, if you get red cards in 2 big games and drop points, it's very different to getting absolutely battered in 6 games. So it's hard to say. Talk about Xabi Alonso and Bayer Leverkusen. I want to cover a video on that soon. I just don't know if enough people will be interested. I'm going to watch their game against Bayern tonight. I watched their game against Leipzig and against Gladbach. Really good watch. One of the best watches in Europe. Thought on Nico Williams. Great young player. Really good young player. Really exciting. A little bit raw. Needs to sharpen up his end product. We have a donation from Ali, the absolute legend of the channel. If you guys are regulars on the channel, you will know about this guy because he is the GOAT. Saying, good morning, AJ, and this awesome community. Been a long 2 weeks. It has. It's been a really long 2 weeks. I enjoyed the international break. I did not enjoy this one. It's been a drag. Glad to catch you live again. You too, my friend. Just watched the United Brighton preview. It was very informative. Glad you enjoyed it. Love everything you do. Keep up the great work. 20k subs soon. Press subscribe if you haven't already to anyone on the channel. We need 20,000 subscribers. We need to hit it. But Ali, thank you very much for the donation as always. I do greatly appreciate it. If you are in the chat, get some love hearts in the chat. Get some like clapping emojis, thumbs up emojis, green hearts, everything. Say thank you to Ali for the donation. Super generous. As always, I do appreciate you. $20. Thank you so much, my friend. I hope you are well. I really do. Like I said, it has been a long 2 weeks. It really has been a long 2 weeks. Yeah, that's brilliant. Keep spamming the love hearts, guys. Keep spamming the love hearts. Also, like the video while you're here as well. Like the stream. Anyway, do you think we can land Ferguson next summer? I don't know. Be interesting to see how it would work alongside someone like Rasmus Højlund, but I do have a video on Evan Ferguson coming pretty soon. Anyway, should we get a poll on this, my friends? Because I'm seeing some indecision. And I think what we're going to... I'm not happy to have him 3 or 4, but I'm also not happy to have him 9 or 10. So if we make a poll and go 7 to 8, or 5 to 6, and just label it Mount. Someone asking, can Garnacho play in the right wing? We will be discussing that later on, because I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that, as well as much as I am, giving my thoughts. So go on, let me know. Mason Mount. So let's just read through some of this on chat. Could Martial be effective at right wing? I think it's unlikely. Can Garnacho... Oh, I already read that. Don't need another young, strong striker. I assume that's in reference to Evan Ferguson. The problem is he is so good. For me, he's better than Rasmus Højlund. I think he's the best upcoming striker on the planet. Watch Evan Ferguson. Like I said, I will be doing a video. What's with all these sacking Ten Hag talk? Exactly. Ten Hag isn't the problem. Let's make that very clear. Ten Hag is not the problem at the football club. Do I think he's got things a little bit wrong? Yeah, here and there. But fun fact, he's a human. So, yeah, absolutely agree with you, Danny. He is not the problem. At the moment, Mason Mount's on a 5 to 6. And that's with 24 votes. 24 votes, is that all? Come on, we can do better than that. If you're watching the stream, vote. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go on my phone and put my vote in. What am I going to vote? What are we going to vote? I'm going to vote. I'm not going to tell you guys what I'm going to vote, actually. Get your votes in, get your votes in, get your votes in. What do you think of signing Ivan Toney as the experienced striker? Slightly concerning because of off-the-field stuff. Is he ever going to be allowed to play, But I love him as a footballer. Not the profile we needed. He should have gone to Liverpool and we spent too much money on him. I know you voted 7 to 8. And that's just allegedly. Allegedly. How can you say Evan Ferguson is better than Højlund when you haven't been watching Højlund in the Premier? No, I just think... I'm not saying... By the way, I'm not saying there's a big gap between the two. Evan Ferguson is just a bit more complete in terms of his link-up play and passing. Rasmus Højlund is incredible. I'm one of his biggest fans. I watched a ridiculous amount of Atalanta last season just to watch him. So don't worry, I'm not criticising him. All right, we're up to 30 votes and it is a 5 to 6. It is allegedly, it is a rumour that I voted 7 to 8. We'll never know what I really voted. But we're going 5 to 6. This one better be higher though. Onana. Onana. Come on, guys. This has got to be... If anyone votes 3 to 4 on this one, I might block you on the channel. Where are we putting Onana? I think it's a good signing at the wrong time. We needed a progressive 8 like Kochu. I assume you're referencing Mason Mount. I completely agree. 10 out of 10. Rasmus Højlund will be excellent. Yeah, don't worry. Rasmus is a very good player. I know I just said I like Evan Ferguson more. Rasmus Højlund is still quality. Don't worry, guys. I don't care what anyone says. Best signing for me. Yep, I agree. I think it's maybe the best business anyone's done all summer. Onana 9 or 10. 9. Someone saying 6. Onana is a 10, just what we needed. 7.5, 10. 8 need a bit better shot stopping. Yeah, reasonable. Maybe his shot stopping could have been better in the opening weeks. Ronan has said 9 about 100 times there. Onana 7 to 8 for the moment. Seeing a few 10s in here. Why are we underrating Mount? I think, obviously... Also, it's very early to judge these players. We should maybe do this again at the end of the season, actually. That could be a cool idea. Kind of go to May, look back and actually see where this ends up, and maybe we could compare it to this. At the moment, it's very early to be doing this, but I'm still interested to hear your thoughts on paper. Yeah, Sesko is also a brilliant young striker. Another really good one. His goal during the international break was quality. Onana strikes fear into the opposition. They don't want to press him, and that itself changes a lot. All right, I think for Onana, we're going to go for 9 to 10, because I think that's what I'm seeing the most. When players, like Alias just said there, when players kind of adapt to his style a bit more as well, and when we see Amrabat in the midfield as well, I think that will change things. Anyway, on to the next one. Rasmus Højlund. What do you think? Take into consideration his Arsenal performance, his Denmark performances, his Atalanta performances, his price tag, his age, his injury record. Take into consideration everything. What do we make of Rasmus Højlund? It was, of course, quite expensive for a reasonably unproven player. I'm not interested in people which tell me he scored 9 goals or whatever it was last season, because his goals per minute ratio was actually very good. What do you make of this as a signing? Straight away, we're seeing 7 to 8, 8, 7 to 8, 7, 8. AJ, how about making another Premier League prediction now that the window is over? It's not a bad idea. We could maybe do it in stream again. 7 to 8 because he is still young and we paid too much, but that's not the player's fault. Yeah, I think, like I said, I'm a big fan of him. We definitely spent too much on him, though. It was definitely a bit expensive, but it's not my money. So, is this based on potential or current performances? Take into consideration a bit of everything. Like I said, consider the fact that he is young, so could be here for 10 years. That, of course, comes into it. Consider a bit of everything. 8 to 9, 8, 8 to 9, 8. Ronan, you only need to say it once, my friend. 8 spent too much, but he is exactly what this team needs. A young, promising striker to refresh the squad. I completely agree. It could be the first time in a long, long, long time that we have a striker who comes into the club and leads the line for 10 years. When was the last time we saw that? Rasmus Højlund could be it. He could be it. I think we're pretty agreed on 7 to 8 though here, right? I think I would, based on him as a footballer, I'd probably go 8, but that price tag just brings it down a tad. I think if it was me personally, I'd have gone Mount as a 7, Højlund as an 8. Maybe Mount as a 6 or 7. The last one, Rooney. That's what I was thinking. That's the name that's come to my head. There must have been one since, right? Post-Ferguson, there hasn't been. Lukaku could have maybe been it, but just didn't live up to it. Van Persie was old. Radamel Falcao, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Weghorst. Yeah, we haven't seen it for a while. Højlund in his cameo against Arsenal showed what a true number 9 can do. Did you guys watch my video on that the other week? I think it got like 50k views, which was incredible. So thank you so much for the support on that video. Yeah, I think you could probably tell how excited I was in that video about what he showed. I think he's really good. I'm happy to have Højlund in the 7 to 8 column. Who was the next bit of business? Oh, the next bit of business was big. United splashed the cash on the next piece of business. Johnny Evans, ladies and gentlemen. Martial, good point actually, yeah. Although, even when he was bought, he almost weren't actually a striker when he was bought. He was more of a left winger, but yeah, good point. 1 to 2, 0, Corey. Put some respect on Johnny Evans' name. 1 to 2. Alright, consider, by the way, guys, that we're not expecting him to be a starting centre-back, right? Consider you've got a player here to be a backup. These ratings are so low. Poor Johnny Evans. Have I set him up here? Okay, 1 to 2, 8. Edwick, good ball knowledge. Rasmus is way better than Evan Ferguson because he's playing for United. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully, you said we'll see this tomorrow. Hopefully, Rasmus proves that he is way better and scores about 6 goals. That'd be great. 10, he's just a bonus. Great player, but right now 0. Please do a video. What formation could Evan Ferguson together with Rasmus Højlund in the first 11? I would like to do that. Yeah. I have got an Evan Ferguson video coming. Where's my schedule? It's written somewhere. 1 second. On the 28th of September, we're talking about Evan Ferguson. Maybe a couple of weeks after that, we could, talk about how it could work at United. Now, Evans isn't in the same rank as Mount, you plonker, mate. I'm asking everyone to rank him, then we'll put him somewhere. I'll just put him on screen so you can see him. Don't be daft. The thing I will say about signing Evan Ferguson whilst also having Rasmus Højlund is it sounds daft because, you know, you've got Rasmus Højlund, you don't need another top young striker. But look at the Sir Alex Ferguson teams. There were strikers galore in some of those squads. I think we can put Johnny Evans down here, right? Let me quickly do a poll on it. We're not going to spend too long on this because, let's be honest, it's not a major signing. It's just something which happened, really. None of us really know why it happened. It just did. I don't think he's terrible. He's a decent footballer. Of course, nostalgia gets him maybe a point or two. So quickly get your vote in. Like I said, we won't linger on this for too long. Can Højlund play on right wing if we somehow sign Ferguson next summer since he is rapid? Højlund can play out wide. He is capable of playing as... Obviously, he's never going to be a traditional winger because he's about 6'3" and built like a brick. So he's never going to be a traditional winger, but yeah, he can play a little bit wider. Inside forward potential? Is Ten Hag building something? Inside forward potential? Keep your eye on it. But yeah, Danny, he can play right wing if you're really desperate to. Højlund, we have Evan in a 3-5-2, like Inzaghi Inter would be great. I like the idea of that. I think the biggest problem, actually, if you have Ferguson and also Højlund, is where does Rashford fit into it? But maybe people don't want Rashford, which is fair enough if that's your opinion. Okay, Johnny Evans, mate, well done. You've made it in a 3-4. Congratulations on that. Hope you're happy. Next up, the backup goalkeeper signed by Manchester United. I still don't know how to pronounce his name. Altay Bayındır is my best shout at pronouncing his name. It genuinely looks like we're going to be seeing this guy in, was it January, because of AFCON. It looks like Onana is going to be part of the international team, so he will be going away for a few weeks, depending on how well they do, of course, depends, or how far they go and everything. But, yeah, Manchester United's backup goalkeeper, who genuinely we could see in the opening months of the new year. We haven't actually covered him in a video, have we? We mentioned him in a live stream on deadline day. But apart from that, we haven't talked about it. Apologies, I just got a message which I'm going to ignore. He stopped being quality about a year ago. Yeah, I mean, weirdly for United, they actually signed him off the back of quite a poor year. Mount close to 6 than to 7. Yeah, he's probably like a 6.5, I think, isn't he? He's probably somewhere in between. An 8 because he's only backup. We don't know him and we have to trust manager. Should we just whack him on like a 5 for now, just because we don't know much about him? Does that seem reasonable? Give me a yes or no. Are you happy with him here? Call him a 5, call Mount a 6. Just going to have a quick drink. Let me know. Are you happy with him here? Yeah, Corey is. Good to see that. Five to 6, I don't know. He's just an NPC. I'm sure he wouldn't appreciate being called an NPC, but we'll go with that. Next up, Reguilón. Now, again, I'm putting him here so you can see him. It's not where we're putting him in terms of our ranking. Reguilón, where are we putting him? Where are we putting him? What's he good at? Flying forward into the final third. He takes up a high starting position. Delivery into the box is genuinely really good. AJ, I think you should move Mount up because if we're considering everything, he can definitely be a 7. Yeah, I personally would have him as a 7, personally. 5 to 6, 5 to 6, 6, 5 to 6, 3 to 4, another NPC. 7 from Danny, a 6, a 5. Worse than Teles. I actually disagree, but it's probably quite close. Edwich just said, I just realised I was behind in the stream, so it looked like I was giving Evans a 7. Now, you stand by it. You give Johnny Evans his 8, sorry. He deserves it. He's not a 4 because he's not even starting for Tottenham. 3 or 4. I don't trust that Ferguson because most Brighton products don't impress elsewhere. It's an interesting point. We do see players which tend to struggle after leaving Brighton. Cucurella is a decent example of it. I don't know. I think McAllister and Caicedo will come good, though. I think they'll kind of prove. AJ, thoughts on both Rashford and Garnacho swapping right wing, left wing for tomorrow's game? I actually kind of hadn't considered Garnacho right wing until quite late, really. But you know me. You're here all the time. You know that I love any sort of system where the wingers are swapping. Because what do I always say? It asks different questions of the opposition. It pulls them into different positions. So I love any sort of system where you got swapping wingers. You don't have to sell it any further than that to me. I like the idea of it always. Always, always, always. Most of these players are third and fourth choices. This is the thing, actually. I think on paper it felt like we had an okay window, but the more we look at it, the more signings there are down here, which is a bit concerning. Where should we put Reguilón? Give me a number real quick. I'm seeing a 6. I'm seeing a 3 to 4. I'm seeing a 4. I'm seeing a 4. I'm seeing a 5, a 6, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6. Okay, I think he's getting in as a 5. Let's put him here. Last up, to finish on the rankings, let's go for Sofian Amrabat. Where do we want Amrabat? Rashford left wing period, please, not striker or right wing. Yeah, I'm talking about you play him left wing, but you move him in game. Just give him like 10 minutes just up against a different fullback to ask a different question. Absolutely, he should start left wing. Quickly, people coming in with the 10, the 7 to 8, the 8, the 7 to 8, the 8, the 7 to 8, 8, the 7 to 8, 4, 8, 8, 7th, 8th, 8. Based on profile, Amrabat is 8. I will give him a 10 because he never gave up on us. Yeah, we might have to boost his rating by 1 just for his pure dedication to joining this football club. Amrabat again, an option without obligation, so a 9. 3 to 4. Very low. I think we're quite happy with him here, right? As an 8. Okay, what do you think is the better business, Højlund or Amrabat? Obviously, consider that Amrabat's alone. Which team in Europe uses 3-4-3 diamond? Not many teams start with it as a base shape, but a lot of teams use it kind of as their structure and build-up. United actually sometimes do it. The 3 diamond 3. So it's not a formation off the top of my head. I can't think of a team which actively kind of starts with it, but it's a formation which teams kind of use in their build-up structure. Manchester City done it in the Champions League final, for example. Are we happy with this tier list? I think Mason Mount is a little bit low. I think Mason Mount's a good player still, but do you think Casemiro is near the end of his career or it's just early season? I think it's a little bit of both, really. I think Casemiro, he is coming towards the end of his career, but also he'll have better weeks this season than what he's having right now. Give him a couple of months, I think he'll be quite a bit better. Business point of view, Amrabat, but in terms of signing, regardless of price, Rasmus Højlund. Should have done a 7, 8, 9 tier group, like separately. Yeah, fair enough. Too early to judge. MM7, also fair enough. Okay, so we've ranked the signings. Now we need to assemble our starting 11 for this game then. Because now I know what you guys think of the players. Who should start? Mohamed saying Leverkusen versus Munich. Let's go. International finally over. I cannot wait for that game tonight. Most people go out on a Friday night and be sociable. No, I'm watching football. I'm scouting players. Amrabat is over the hill and far away. Yeah, maybe. Move Mount to the end of the tier above. No way he's in the same as Region. Yeah, I agree. See you later, FP, mate. Enjoy whatever it is you're going to go do. Hopefully catch you a little bit later on. But good to see you as always, my friend. I hope you are well. Xabi Alonso will win tonight. Ooh, I won't mind it. Leverkusen are my favourite team in Germany. So yeah, I'd quite like to see that. If Fernandinho can play till 37 at Premier League, clearly Casemiro can play for a few more seasons. Yeah, he's easily got a couple more years. Obviously, his play style is very different to Fernandinho. He plays in a very different team, a very different system. And everyone individually is different. But yeah, I get your point. Okay. Let's figure out our starting 11 then. Who are we going for at centre-back? Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you guys are cooking. I'm going to have some water so I don't die from dehydration. AJ, please take a look at Gabriel Moscardo. I will write his name down right now. Can you tell me a bit about him? Lindelof and Lisandro Martinez. So, Varane is definitely injured, right? I assume that means. Gabriel Moscardo. Yeah, give me... Muhammad Ali, give me a bit of a breakdown on him. AJ, Diamond or Antonio Silva? That's a difficult question to answer. Not sure. I'm not sure. They certainly have differences. Come back to me end of the season for that one. Varane will be back next week, I think. Okay, so it probably leaves it this week with Lisandro Martinez and Victor Lindelof. I don't think any of you are going to suggest Maguire or Evans. I doubt. I think that's probably a fair assumption, right? Do we know about Amrabat? Is he fit? Does anyone know? He's a young Brazilian, 17, centre mid, really good physically and know how to get out of pressure. Could you tell me who he plays for, please? Because that's definitely a profile I like the sound of. He wasn't in any of the photos. Okay. Casemiro plays better when paired with another defensive-minded midfielder, like when he plays for Brazil. Yep, that's a fair point. Yeah, the fact that he wasn't in any of the photos, apparently, from training. Although, apparently, Ten Hag is determined to start Amrabat and Højlund. Amrabat had not played in pre-season, so no Amrabat. Am I getting excited a bit by hoping he'll start then, do you think? Do you think it's unrealistic that he plays? In my opinion, for United to have a true shot at winning this game, Amrabat needs to play. But we don't know the match fitness. We don't know the sharpness. Obviously, didn't even play for Morocco. Is he, let alone match fitness, is he even fit? Can he run? Or is he injured? For me, he needs to play, though. Who would you guys go for without him? Would you drop Bruno Fernandes a little bit deeper? Would you bring Christian Eriksen into the side like we've done here? Would you look at someone like Scott McTominay? United like to hide photos of new players, yeah. Plays for Corinthians. He is young and has a good potential. I think when we are done with Casemiro, he'll be ready. But I've got his name written down, and I will definitely check him out. I want to try scout the South American market a little bit more. So yeah, you'd invert Dalot with Casemiro. Okay, so we're going into structure here. What would you do with Aaron Wan-Bissaka in that situation? Tuck him into a back three then? Are you talking something like this? Is this the sort of structure you're going for? Who said it now? I can't see. Don't press against Brighton. I think it's pointless, really. Yeah, I agree. I was always curious if Andre had the profile to succeed in the Premier League. He absolutely does, but for the right club. I don't think he can be a number 6 by himself, because I think what we're seeing in the Premier League at the moment is a real physical league. We're seeing lots of big players, and the best sixes are quite big. Declan Rice going abroad, Tchouaméni coming back to the Premier League, Rodri, Casemiro, they are big presences. So I don't think Andre can be a 6 in the Premier League, but an 8 next to a 6 he could be. AJ, last season Ten Hag started Anthony right away after signing him, and he was on strike and didn't have a preseason. That's what I keep telling myself. So yeah, I agree, Ali. That's what I keep telling myself. I'll keep being like, he played Anthony quick, so maybe he'll do the same with Amrabat. I'm holding on to that little bit of hope. It might be delusion, but I'm holding on to it. So this would be your formation. We have a box midfield, fair enough. I like the idea of it. What role could Donny play this season? Honestly, I just don't see him playing a role unless there's a lot of injuries, to be truthfully honest with you. It's really hard to find that type of midfielder, a physically imposing one, a tower who is also very ball secure and can progress the ball. It's really difficult to find. It's why Declan Rice just went for over 100 million. It's why Tchouaméni last year was however much he cost. These are, at the moment, the thing in football which everyone wants. Liverpool couldn't find one in the summer. United couldn't find one in the summer, although maybe didn't look. Amrabat is not far off it. He's not quite as big. He's 6 foot. He's not quite as physically kind of imposing as others, but Amrabat is up there. Amrabat has the potential to be an Elite 6. Is he an Elite 6 right now? No, but he does have potential. Amrabat has to start, but seeing Ten Hag's lineup all this time, Eriksen will start and we will suffer in the first half and second half. Amrabat will come on, but it'll be too late. Barcelona are in a financial issue. Should we steal Balde? Interesting. I love Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but I think we need to sell him while he still has lots of value. We need to get a more attacking right back like Frimpong or Dumfries. I like the idea of Frimpong, not of Dumfries. What I'll say is what United need to do this season, I feel like United struggled to do it last season as much as Ten Hag wanted, is the identity needs to be clear and it needs to be there. I don't want to go into next season thinking, do we play attacking fullbacks or are our fullbacks inverted? Because, for example, if you signed Frimpong at the moment, like right now, he could not play in the current system because he can't play in a back three. He's not someone which drops deep, and I'm also not convinced on him inverting into midfield. So you'd go, it's not worth it at all. But if United want to change things, you sign a different profile of right winger or play Mason Mount or Bruno Fernandes there, for example. Suddenly you want a right back which flies forwards, and Frimpong looks like a really good option. So that's what United need to establish. They need to establish the way in which they want to do things. I'm fed up of not quite knowing what we want to do. For example, the fact that Dalot and Shaw technically would be left backs, or no, sorry, right now, fitness-wise, I know it's a little bit unfortunate because of injuries. Our left backs are Dalot and Reguilon. They're so different. Wan-Bissaka and Dalot, they're so different. United need an identity of what players and what kind of players play certain roles. Now, yes, have different options from the bench, players which can change things, absolutely. But I feel like United need more of an identity. That's what Ten Hag really needs to develop this season. Last season, it was about plugging gaps for a while, and the start of this season will be the same with so many injuries. But by January, February time, we need to be talking about, it's quite clear United are doing this. Then it's much easier to look ahead to the summer and go, okay, so we need that type of fullback, we need that type of centre-back, and we need that type of midfielder. Right now, I couldn't tell you what profile Ten Hag's looking at next summer. Apparently, we know the positions: a right-back, a centre-back, a number 6, a winger, and was a young forward, the other one. We know that Ten Hag wants that, but right now it's really difficult to tell you the profile he would want there. That's the problem. That's what needs to change. Of course, like I said, it's going to be a problem for the next few weeks still, because you've got new signings who are injured, you've got one of the best centre-backs at the club injured, your best left-back at the club injured, Mason Mount injured, Kobe Minu injured, right wingers, big off-the-pitch issues. So it's going to be difficult for Ten Hag. He's going to have to plug gaps for a little while still, but I just hope towards the end of the season we really know what he's trying to do. Our main problem is centre-back and striker. If this is sorted, then everyone's form will start clicking. Now, that's really interesting you say that, because a lot of people think the problem's in the midfield, so it's nice to see a different point of view. United really need to find partnerships that work other than Bruno Fernandes or Rashford. Bruno and Rashford or Shaw and Rashford. Yeah, it feels like those are the two good partnerships at the club at the moment. We need to see more. I think Lisandro Martinez and Varane works well to an extent as well. Do you think Kobe Minu will get good game time this season? Absolutely. The second he's back from injury, I will be doing a video on it. I think he could be so important this season. I've also got a different academy player to talk about soon. I'm currently doing the background work. I'm scouting him, compiling my scout reports. Keep an eye out for that video. Not sure when it will be out, but there's an academy player coming up, about 16 years old, and he looks really good. Next year, fullbacks should definitely be improved. Currently, they can't release our wingers, nor tuck into midfield. Exactly. Luke Shaw, for example, is incredible at flying forward down the outside, and he's also a really good deep progressor. But if you want him to invert into midfield, right now it doesn't seem like he can do it, so it's a weird one. Could Minu and Amrabat work together? Yeah, I think they definitely could. Don't push too hard for Minu, I think. Yeah, that's the other important thing, because no matter how good he is, and no matter how much United need his exact profile, he's very young, you've got to manage his minutes, you've got to make sure it's the right environment for him to play in. Malasia's okay at inverting. Yeah, I think Malasia is probably the best left-back at inverting, unless you're taking Dallo into consideration. Any idea on the length of his injury? Someone saying, would Frimpong suit Man United? I'm guessing you just missed my whole little rant. Basically, it's difficult to say right now because we don't know what Ten Hag wants to do as such, so we don't know what type of right back he wants. In the current system, no, but in a future system, maybe. If anyone wants to know the Manchester United youth product I'm talking about, just have a look at Muhammad Ali's comment in chat. He's got it spot on. Our play starts from the back. Best goalkeeper and defence is sorted. Or best goalkeeper, and if defence is sorted, plus a goal-scoring striker. Our mid is on paper very good. That's why everyone's form will start clicking. Yeah, I completely understand that. Yeah, I completely get the logic. Absolutely. Maybe we could play Minu in a Caicedo role that De Zerbi played him in against United at inverted right back. I think that's also a position which people have said, can Amrabat play there? Yeah, Corey, I thought you would know who it was. I think most people will. I'm unsure on the whole midfielder at right back and inverting them thing. I'm not sure. I think it's possible, but I don't think you want to do it for the sake of doing it. Is our identity not transitional football? At times, yes. At times, no. Again, that's why it's a little bit confusing. Because, for example, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Rasmus Højlund to an extent, suit transitioning football. Perfect for it. Lisandro Martinez doesn't. Amrabat doesn't. So that's where it's a bit difficult to find what United are doing. Shea Lacey is kind of the only standout right now in the academy. Everyone else is in the good, probably not good enough for Man United category. Yeah, I agree. They're in the probably a Premier League footballer category, but are they going to be at Old Trafford? Probably not sort of category. Yeah. What do you think of signing Kimmich as right back? I know it's hard to get him from Bayern, just hypothetical. Ten Hag coached him at the youth level at Bayern. I actually didn't know that he had coached him at Bayern. Now that would be nice to see. Because then you have a true player who can actually actively invert from right back into midfield. Yeah, I would like the idea of that. Is it possible? No idea. But if we're talking hypothetical, I quite like the idea of it. I was hoping Charlie McNeil would be able to add to the season. Yeah, he's another one where I just don't think he's going to kick on enough. I think you could phrase that question a bit differently. With Rashford being Mr. Manchester United, isn't transitional football destined to be the style we have to perfect? Again, quite possibly. I don't have an issue if Ten Hag wants to be a completely transitional coach who plays really fast football. It's not my preference, but if he does that, fair enough. But build an 11 around it, not 6 or 7 players around it. If he wants to be a slower possession team, build an 11 around it and a whole squad around it rather than 4 or 5 players. That's what I'm saying. We need to see that this is our approach. Yes, you want a squad which can do both, but if you look at Manchester City, you look at them and you go, okay, they want to keep the ball. They want to do this. When you looked at the Liverpool team from 4 years ago, you looked at it and went, okay, they're going to be quite fast. They're going to be quite direct. Now, which one you prefer doesn't matter. The fact is that you could tell what they want to do. You can't do that with United, and that's my problem. I mean, the quality of coaching at the academy level is not good. I don't know enough about it, I'll be honest. I still think Rangnick was so right back then when he said the squad needed open heart surgery. Yeah, I completely agree with him. This is a squad partly... Actually, now, to be fair, all the Sir Alex Ferguson players are gone, I believe. But going up into this summer, we still had players from Sir Alex Ferguson. When certain players were still at the club, like Juan Mata, for example. We still had David Moyes players. We've had Louis van Gaal players, Jose Mourinho players, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer players, Ten Hag players. Yeah. Bro, they are high potential kids. They need good coaching. Yeah, absolutely. I just don't know enough about the coaching at the United youth level to really comment. Garnacho just 1 season in the academy. Look at him now. Very true. We need Theo Hernandez to replace Shaw. What's everyone's thoughts on Luke Shaw? I think he's so underrated. But he does have those spells where he does disappoint. How many good first team player can our academy realistically produce each year? Personally, I'm happy to see 1 player come into the team each year, but I'd like a few challenging, if you know what I mean. So this year, like last year it was Garnacho, this year it'll be Kobe Mainu, next year, who knows. And I'm okay with it only being 1 coming through each year, as long as that 1 isn't guaranteed, like, I'm the best. They need to have competition. So, Johnny Evans from the Sir Alex Ferguson era, perfect, thank you very much. So I'm happy if it's 1 player coming through each year, as long as it's not guaranteed. Like, I shouldn't be able to look at it now and go, that player's coming through in 2 years. I want it to be like, it's going to be one of those 4 or 5. That's what I'd be happy with. Shaw is Marmite to me, on his day world class, but when it's not, I'm just wondering if he's a local security guard. Describing Shaw as Marmite is actually a really good way of putting it. I love Luke Shaw. I think he's the best left back in the world on his day. I think when he's on form, I think he is the best. But you are right, he does have bad days. I'm out, man. Keep good work. AJ, thank you very much, man. I hope you have enjoyed the stream. I'll catch you in the next one, hopefully, or in some future videos. But thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I know we've had less viewers than normal today, and we haven't had some of the regulars. But I hope you guys that are here are still enjoying it, enjoying the stream. For some of you, this might be your first stream ever. Hope you are enjoying it. We're just kind of chilling and chatting and waffling a little bit. But yeah. Style of play is hard to introduce in the Premier League, given the pressure. Took Arteta years and several getting sacked in the morning to do it right. I pray every United fan and club are patient enough. Yeah. Spot on, Danny. I think it's frustrating from the outside looking in, but Ten Hag needs time. I'm sitting here saying it's annoying, we need to know soon, and I still feel that way, but I don't think Ten Hag should be under any pressure. Give him time. AJ, would you buy the club if Glazers actually sold it? If I was a multi-billionaire, I would consider it. Love the stream, AJ. Thank you very much, Ali. Do you think this Brighton midfield is lacking in some physicality? Gross and Gilmore aren't that impressive to me. I'm really happy someone has pointed that out. I have been waiting. I've been sat here with it on screen, but also I've been looking on Twitter the last few days. I have been waiting for someone to pick up on the fact that this Brighton midfield isn't quite what it was. It ain't quite there. It's still good, but it isn't quite what it once was. And I wonder if that is where United might be able to capitalise, especially if Amrabat is fit. Manuel asking, do you think Lisandro Martinez will be our longer-term centre-back? I have a feeling he might be turned into a sort of Nathan Ake. Lisandro Martinez is such a good player. Technically, he has so much in his favour. I do have concerns, though. Starting to creep in. And it makes me a little bit unsure over what his future is in terms of what his position is, or even if in 18 months he'll even be a starter. It's something I want to look at in a different video. I think it needs an entirely different video to talk about it. He would be good if he played a Stones role at United, so kind of centre-back stepping into midfield, like that. He would be good if he played a... Oh, sorry, same one again. If United gets a defensive unit that rivals City's, then yeah, he could be slotted over to left-back. The problem United have is... I feel like Lisandro Martinez and Shaw have some strengths which are quite similar. Shaw's obviously better in the final third. But I do wonder if they're both more suited to left centre-back in a back three. I don't know. Leave the Martinez debate to another day. I want to really dive into it, look at his games from Ajax and figure something out for Lisandro Martinez. Because there's something not quite right there at the moment. But there's still so much potential and so good that there's got to be something you can figure out. The problem is most solutions probably don't have Luke Shaw in the starting 11. I do think that Martinez does have a place even in an ideal Manchester United defensive unit of 5 if you conceptualise it like that. Don't give us false hopes about Amrabat. Hang on, let me just read something. I think I've missed a comment in there somewhere. Oh, I've missed loads of chat. Sorry, guys. Who are United's most physical players? Højlund, Casemiro. Depends what you class as physical. Do you mean physically strong or athletic? For example, Mason Mount covers a lot of ground. Bruno Fernandes. It depends how you classify it. Lisandro Martinez, for example, may not be the most physical, but makes up for it with aggression. Do you think Shaw can invert? I think he could be developed into a player which can invert. Do I think he can invert optimally right now? Nope. Do you think getting a right winger who could score 30 goals a season would ease up the pressure on Rashford? Absolutely. We rely a lot on the left flank. What are your thoughts on that? Right wing is one of the positions which I will be studying this season. We're going to do a scouting for United series. I looked at Elise briefly the other day. We're going to look into it more moving forward. Bakayoko is the one I'm watching from PSV. He's the one I've got my eye on at the moment. But by the end of the season, we'll find someone. Don't worry. We still need a fast and physical centre-back. And they need to be a ball player as well. Yes. Would you be concerned how overused Bruno has been after he was signed? He is 29 now. He isn't young anymore. Yeah, very much so. I think it's incredible what he's done. The fact that he's played so regularly for so many years now is incredible. But... I mean, like, it just feels like you're playing with fire a little bit. There's a chance he could get injured, and who knows. At the end of the day, Lisandro is great, but he needs to chill a bit sometimes. Yeah, I can back that. Wan-Bissaka is one of the better athletes we have as well. He is electric. Yeah, very true. Luke Shaw is brilliant. I think he had a sluggish start due to the overplaying last season, and he could have been playing injured in the opening 2 games. He also has this thing, Luke Shaw, where he seems to start slow. We rarely ever see Luke Shaw play his best football in the first 6 weeks of the season. He always seems to come stronger. So hopefully it's the case this season. McTominay is another really physically strong player. Yep, very much so. Amrabat is another one who is quite strong. Can you guys still hear me fine? My stream is having some issues on my end. Can you guys hear all right? I'm sure you guys would say if you couldn't, right? I'm assume. We're back? We're good? Okay, cool. Thank you. Refreshed and it works now? Yes. Okay, apologies for that. I'm not really sure what happened there. Thank you very much. Let's go through some of these comments. I really want McTominay to have a place in the first 11 just because of his physicality, but then he never really justifies it with performances. I think he's always been misprofiled. I think he's a player who should play much further forward. Thank you for everyone saying that you could hear. Do appreciate your help. Could you see Ten Hag playing Casemiro at centre-back with Lindelof, Amrabat and Bruno as the pivot and McTominay as the higher rate if Martinez won't be available for the game against Brighton? I'm just trying to picture that in my head, kind of how that works. Oh, sorry, I misread it, didn't I? At centre-back with Lindelof, Amrabat and Bruno as the pivot. Possibly. I think he would probably just go for Harry Maguire, though. What do I think for Doué as a replacement? Just haven't watched him enough. Reece Bennett again. Just haven't watched him enough to really give a proper opinion. Unpopular opinion, but I think McTominay is our best ball-carrying midfielder at the moment. Unpopular opinion indeed. But apart from Kobe Mainu, Amrabat, the right opinion. Yeah, I agree. Really good ball carrier. I just wish he kind of had naturally a better understanding of certain midfield dynamics and angles and things like that. Because Scott McTominay has the potential, if used right, to be such a good, effective player, but never quite been used right. I'm just seeing if I can find anything on Ten Hag. Here we go, hang on. Let me read you some of Ten Hag's quotes. Give me 1 second. Here we go. So first of all, he said on Sancho, I think everything is said, so the squad is strong, in good spirits and good mood going into the game. So basically, he's just dropped the shoulder on that question about Sancho. We closed the game. We work on the feedback, the data, team feedback. We played very well, very well against Arsenal. We trained very well. We played very well. We deserved much more in Arsenal. It was not on our side. That was the outcome of our analysis, and you can see our progress against a good Arsenal. And minimum, we have to get a draw there, and we could have won. We come back, and we trained very well. We are ready for it. I actually agree with him there. I think United were good against Arsenal. You have sometimes setbacks in seasons. Players are injured or for other reasons are not available. So you construct a squad, and the squad is very good, and the players who are available are motivated to give a good performance. On Maguire criticism, I have said many times, it's disrespectful, doesn't deserve it. He's a great player, gives great performances. It is crazy about how it works. Harry has to block this. Yeah, fair enough. So nothing team news-wise yet, though. McTominay says he is 26 but feels 21, so his prime is yet to come. I was reading about that. He's like, I feel like I'm 5 years behind everyone else. Most people last till 33. I can go till 38. Yeah, I was reading about that the other day. I'm wondering if Ten Hag's long-term plan is to first capitalise on our team's current strength, which is being fast and direct on the transition, and slowly he'll turn United into a possession-based team. I can see that. My concern is just how long it takes. Any update on Kobe Mainu? Not yet. Not that I've seen. What do you think about the 4-4-2 diamond formation? Sport Gang, I do have a video on my channel from, I think it was on Monday I uploaded it, or some day earlier this week, talking about how United could set up in a diamond with Højlund and Rashford as the front two. So go check it out. So apparently Lindelof and Sancho are fit for tomorrow. So yeah, I would assume they'll be the starting two. Yeah, I'm just looking for quotes from Ten Hag on players, basically. Nothing said about Amrabat yet. Yeah, McTominay should have been used as a higher box-to-box player, if not a sort of second striker box crasher, just a menace which gets forward and causes problems. Trying to think about what else we had. So we've done the tier list. Oh yeah, who should play right wing this weekend? AJ, what do you think of Hansi Flick's sacking? I think it's sad. He is such a great manager. Yeah, I think it's really disappointing. For Flick, I think he is a really good manager. It never quite clicked right. I don't think he quite felt that he had the tools in that Germany squad to do quite what he wanted to do. Yeah, it's always disappointing though. I think managers in general need time. So, the question is, who plays on the right wing this weekend? There's no Sancho, there's no Anthony. We believe Amad Diallo is still out injured. We believe Mason Mount is still out injured. So we can go El Ghazi. Good shout, Corey. It could be El Ghazi. How scared were you when you saw that link this week? I was terrified. In terms of squad status, Ghana probably expects to start over Pellistri, but I think Pellistri starts and Garnacho comes in as a sub in the 60th minute. Just to give my opinion, I would probably go for Fakundu. I think he's naturally a right winger, which I think United need that. I think especially if Rasmus Højlund starts, which again we're not sure if that is the case, but hopefully it is. Someone like Fakundu Pellistri, who actually plays as a traditional or proper right winger, if you like, getting to the byline, finding Højlund. I genuinely think these two could have a really good understanding, like a surprisingly good understanding. I think there could be a dynamic there. Yeah, the El Ghazi news, I think it caught most of us a little bit off guard, right? I don't think it's what any of us expected to wake up and read. I had to do a double take when I saw it. So Ten Hag was asked about Anthony, how long he'll be out for. He just said no idea. Probably the right answer to give, my friend. It's typical. We have 2 great games in spring against them, Brighton. And we know we have to play tomorrow to our best because they will sacrifice and suffer because it gives you a lot of options. So really looking forward to it. I just don't get United's recruitment team sometimes. It's a baffling one. If Stupinan is an attacking left back, so Pellistri is a good choice. Or Garnacho. Very true. I think we need someone in right wing to deal with Stupinan whilst Wan-Bissaka is dealing with Matoma. They are really good points you raised there. So with that in mind, do you go for Fakundu Pellistri because we know he does have good defensive work rate, played as a wing back for Uruguay before, or do you go Bruno Fernandes? Again, I'd still go for Fakundu. If you were to rate Premier League managers based on their tactical awareness, where would you put Ten Hag in your list? I think it's safe to assume Pep would be first. Yeah, Guardiola would definitely be first. Well, that's a really difficult question. Because it depends what you class as tactical awareness. Because, for example, you can be really tactically aware, but play a deep block. So it's difficult to say, really. It'd be in the top 5, though, for sure. Arteta's obviously up there as well. So Ali has said Bruno in the right wing, Eriksen as a 10, and they will provide tons of service to Højlund. So this is an idea that I'm not mad about. Let's just quickly put it on paper. And it's what I think Ten Hag will go for if Amrabat is fit. Could we see a system which looks like this? It's not ideal having Bruno Fernandes here. Absolutely, I get that. I know a lot of people won't like that. But in possession, could he drift and create this 3 either side of Gilmour and Pascal Gross? Would I keep Ten Hag in elite managers bracket? Yeah. You don't judge him on the current squad. Do you think Rasmus Højlund can score his first goal if he starts? I think Rasmus will score this weekend. Whether he starts or not. I think he scores. If Bruno comes in as a right winger, he will be close to the midfield, so Estupinan will benefit from this, I think. Estupinan does like to invert a bit more this season at times. It is the only thing. Ronan saying Mount had a great season as a floating right winger under Tuchel in the last full season. What do you think of making him our starting winger for this season? Garnacho Pellistri against tired legs works well. Yeah, I covered that in a video yesterday or the day before, so check it out if you want to. If Bruno... sorry, that's the same comment again. Yeah, like I said, Estupinan does invert a bit more this season. So kind of what they were doing last season was much more this 2-4 shape. This season, what we're seeing at times is a bit more of a shape which looks like this. Which, like, from a defensive point of view, would probably suit Bruno Fernandes a little bit more than what a traditional overlapping left-back would. But the way Brighton are set up, they also probably tweak it in-game to do this as well. So the players are going to have to be really adaptable. Really adaptable. Because Brighton are so smart, De Zerbi's so smart, the players are so good technically and tactically, that they don't just have one system, they can do lots of different things. Deadshot asking, are you confident going into this match? Yeah. I am. Confident, actually, maybe not, but I think United win. 2-1. Give me your score predictions in chat, guys. Score predictions. Like I said, I think United win 2-1. I think Rasmus Højlund is going to score. I think... Who gets the other one? Bruno Fernandes and Rasmus Højlund score. With... Who scores for Brighton? Matoma. Nah, not Matoma. Welbeck. Welbeck scores for Brighton. Rashford will score. What scoreline you go for? 2-0? I want to say I'm confident, but I always look at Brighton's side and don't think they're that fast or threatening up front. Then they end up causing lots of problems. That is a good point about this Brighton side. It's actually, on paper, it's not the best team in the world. That's why De Zerbi deserves so much credit. But what all of these players are, they may not be the best players, but tactically they're so clever and technically they're so good on the ball. Rashford versus Veltman, so he'll score. I like the logic. 3-1 Brighton. Oh, but Højlund scores a banger though. Yeah, it's basically the same as 3 points. If West Ham were able to defeat Brighton, then we must have to. That's the big thing I think United need to take from that West Ham game, was the gaps behind the fullbacks and between the centre-backs. The amount of times in that game, Antonio was running into these sorts of areas. We had Jared Bowen running into these areas. I can't remember who played left wing on the day, but Brighton do leave spaces out here. It was Webster played that game and really did not have a good one at all. But you can hurt Brighton. You can. They are really good, but you can hurt them. 8-2, just like the Arsenal one. I'll take it. I think Facundo Pellistri is going to eat any space alive that is left for him behind Estupinan. Yeah, potentially. If we do this and bring Facundo Pellistri back, where is he? Here he is. That space in behind there with Rashford attacking that space. That said, I think trying to go at times a bit narrower with this 3 could be the solution in this game. To get around these Brighton midfielders. Because, like I said in my preview, I think Brighton might find it hard to press at times. But it could be the other way around. United could get destroyed. If the refs allow us, which is a huge point, because they're awful, I think we will win 2-1. By the way, what do I think about refs? Truthfully, I probably shouldn't speak too much about my opinion on referees in English football because I don't like it. AJ, but when Brighton plays City, City do press them very aggressively, so why can't we press them high? United could press Brighton high if United had a good pressing system. I don't think United have a good pressing system. So, what City often do, they're really aggressive in their press, so if they face a front 3, just ignore the personnel for a second. But let's say City were to face this formation. They don't always do it, but what City are happy to sometimes do is go just crazy aggressive, go man-to-man all over the pitch and win their battles, whereas United don't do that. United always leave a man spare somewhere. So I think City are also just better at everything. They're better at keeping the ball for longer periods, so they have more energy, so when Brighton do get the ball, they can go press because they've kept possession, kept their energy. So, yeah. Ali's saying Pellistri will be a super impact sub when Brighton's legs are depleted. That's also a really good shout. Play Bruno Fernandes for 60 minutes. Get Pellistri on. Garnacho on against tired legs. That could be a really good idea. West Ham used a 4-1-4-1 against Brighton. Do you think we might use similar tactics? When West Ham... apologies. When West Ham played Brighton, the issue with replicating it is a couple of things. One, is Rashford going to tuck in and be a proper left mid defensively? I'm not too sure. But also, when you're West Ham playing against Brighton, it's okay to have, 22% of the ball I think they had. When you're Manchester United at Old Trafford, there is an expectancy. Now, it might sound daft, but that genuinely affects players and managers. There is an expectancy as the team in red at Old Trafford to kind of take the game to the opposition. A 4-1-4-1 maybe doesn't do that, but it could work because in that game, Edson Alvarez was incredible, kind of marshalling Ferguson and Welbeck. Casemiro could do something similar. Don't talk about refs or they will fine you. True. City also just have these monstrous 2-meter tall locomotives breathing down the backs of their opponents all over the pitch. That's also a really good point. If you go, for example, let's say we're going back to City and they go really aggressive on the press, like so, they commit super high. The solution to that a lot of the time, as the team trying to play out from the back, is to go, okay, we'll just play it long then. But what City have defensively is Ruben Dias, who's really good in the air. You've got Gvardiol, who is a physical, strong presence. Sometimes it's a Kanji, but he's physical. Rodri, John Stones, and then the recovery pace of Kyle Walker. You have real big players. They're huge at City. If you look at them at a corner, there's some big old players in that team. Whereas you look at United, for example, if you go long against City, into this area, perhaps Gvardiol challenging the ball. Compare that to Lissandro Martinez, it's very different. Gvardiol isn't actually the best in the air, but physically he's so imposing, so difficult to kind of wrestle, that it's a problem. And United don't have that same threat. So again, that's why it's also difficult for United to go so aggressive. I also think if United went for that aggressive approach, Lindelof on Ferguson, I wouldn't be too keen on that. I'm just seeing if we can get any more quotes from Ten Hag. Haven't seen anything yet. Oh, on Anthony, he said he's disappointed, but he's okay. Again, don't really want to talk on that situation too much. But yeah, I don't think United quite have the facilities to go aggressive in this game because I don't think they have the personnel at the back to do it. Especially if you're making that Manchester City comparison. United's players are just different profiles. They're not quite as good in those duels. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand on that little situation. Does anyone else have any other questions or thoughts or suggestions on this Brighton game? AJ, take down the name Robert Renan. You will love him. Okay. I'll write it down literally right now. I'm curious about Van Heck. Truthfully, I'm afraid I don't really know enough about him to tell you if he should be targeted or whatever. What was I going to say? He hasn't played every game this season. Like I said, Webster played the West Ham game, I believe it was, and he had an absolute rotter. Robert Renan plays for Zenit. Yep, just writing it down now. Thank you very much. Do you think Ten Hag would do better than De Zerbi in the Brighton team? Actually, no. I think De Zerbi's kind of approach is so suited to the tactical and, again, technical intelligence of these players. I think Ten Hag, I just think De Zerbi's such a good fit there. If Højlund scores a hat-trick, you remove the hat for next video. Yeah, deal. Deal. I'd remove the hat if I had a better haircut without a Højlund hat-trick. But if Højlund gets a hat-trick, I'll do a video on it with no hat. If we swap Ten Hag and Pep, will Pep be able to win the Premier League with this team? Well, that's another brilliant question. Again, I don't think so, but only because I think Pep would have built a different team. I don't think Pep would have signed Casemiro, for example.